Inside a cold, smoke-filled war factory, beneath steel beams and burning sparks, a tank was born. Not a man, not a soul. But from the moment his treads touched the ground, he carried the weight of survival. His name was Bim. His engine growled for the first time, echoing across the muddy training fields. Mechanics froze, eyes widened. Bim wasn't just a machine anymore, he was alive. He rolled forward into the mist, unaware of the fire that awaited him. No one spoke. The only sounds were boots on gravel, engines rumbling, the wind howling through broken trees. Bim led the column, calm, steady, as if even he knew. This wasn't a drill, it was war. Flames licked his hull, shells exploded around him. But Bim, battered, scorched, defiant, kept moving forward. He didn't scream, he didn't stop. That day, steel met fire, and Bim survived. When others ran, Bim turned toward the bullets. He placed his body between the soldiers and certain death. He had no heart, and yet, somehow, he protected them like a brother. Sometimes, courage doesn't come from flesh. It comes from silence and steel. They came from the trees, shadows with teeth. Trapped in the dark, Bim turned to face the ambush. Fire flashed, trees fell, and the silence was lost forever. Not all wounds bleed. His first scar was silent, burned into steel, etched by fire. Bim didn't flinch. He simply rolled forward, carrying it like a badge. The battlefield was quiet now, too quiet. Bim stood alone among ruins, his brothers shattered around him. In that silence, he learned what war truly meant. They patched him up, welded over the pain. But some cracks can't be sealed. Bim was back on his treads. But something inside had changed. The climb was brutal, shells rained like thunder. Yet Bim kept pushing, grinding his way toward the summit, because retreat was never an option. It wasn't the enemy this time. The fire came from his own side. Confusion, panic, and a cruel truth. In war, betrayal doesn't always come with warning. Smoke wrapped the world in silence. Bim moved forward, blind, unsure, trusting only the rhythm of his treads. The enemy was near, or everywhere. He'd never turned his back before. But the city was gone, the people were gone. And so Bim retreated, slowly, solemnly, through the dust of failure. No more orders, no more war, just rust and silence. Bim sat forgotten in a village no one remembered, while the world moved on without him. On his hull, the names of soldiers long gone, scratched into steel, a flower on his gun. Time hadn't erased them, just made them quieter. Chained, stripped, powerless, Bim wasn't a weapon now, just a prize. The fire in him dimmed, but deep down, something still burned. He broke free under moonlight, steel screaming, sparks flying. One last roar through the gates of captivity. Bim was no one's prisoner anymore. The desert didn't care about heroes. It swallowed everything. Bim wandered alone, half buried in sand, half forgotten, fully alive. They found him beneath the dunes, a ghost of war, covered in dust. But in their eyes, he was hope. Bim would rise again, painted, fueled, ready. Bim rolled out with rebels at his side. A new fight, a different flag, but the same fire in his engine. The bombs fell fast, the people ran, but Bim didn't move. He stood between the village and the storm, and for a moment, the war paused. He burned again, and this time, the villagers wept. His armor melted, but not his will. Even flames knew who he was. The war faded behind him. Mountains passed outside the train car. Bim, broken, battered, was going somewhere quiet, maybe home. Gentle hands replaced rough ones. No more welders, just caretakers. They spoke in whispers around Bim, like he was sacred. And maybe he was. His scars were still there, just beneath the green. The fresh paint didn't erase the past, it honored it. Bim was whole again, for the world to see. A white flower in his barrel, a final salute. The war was over, not just on paper, But in the hearts of those who remembered, they touched him like they were meeting an old friend. Some cried, some smiled. Bim didn't speak, but they heard him anyway. The plaque said Bim, but the story was longer than words. It lived in the footsteps around him, in the eyes that stopped to read. Under moonlight, behind glass, Bim rested at last. No engines, no orders, just silence, and the echo of everything he'd survived.